Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation, A Spiritual Approach to Banned Books Week. I'm Keela Villa, Campus Librarian at Sagu American Indian College in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, if you're a librarian at a Christian university, K-12 school, church, or you serve at a public library in a very conservative Christian community, you may have struggled with knowing how to celebrate Banned Books Week. As Christian librarians, we have the conviction to uphold biblical standards, but it can feel hard to do that during Banned Books Week. My solution is to approach Banned Books Week from a spiritual perspective. Now, with this approach, Banned Books Week transforms it into a time for patrons to celebrate their right to read the most banned book in the world, the Bible. This spiritual approach also gives patrons a global perspective on Christian discrimination and persecution. Throughout the week, librarians can encourage patrons to read their Bibles and pray for those who can't read one, much less own one. It's a great way to promote biblical values instead of worldly values, especially those that have been recently politicized and celebrated. The photo here is one of my former displays. You can see that there's a lot of stuff here. I've listed some of the materials that I've used in previous years. The most important is Bibles of any language. I happen to have a large collection of foreign language Bibles in my library. So each year, I look at the World Watch List, which lists 50 countries with the highest levels of persecution. I then match the languages spoken in those countries with the Bibles that I have in my collection. So for example, I have a Korean Bible. North Korea is traditionally number 1 on the World Watch List. So the signage that you see next to the Bibles lists the language that it's written in, the country it would be illegal in, and the level of persecution that Christians there would endure for owning that Bible. Now, if you don't have any foreign language Bibles, English Bibles will work just as well. Additionally, I like to include books and magazines on Christian persecution, such as Fox's Book of Martyrs, Torture for Christ, and The Voice of the Martyrs. I get my facts, statistics, and maps about Christian persecution and biblical censorship from the World Watch List. Relevant scriptures are also good to include. My mugshot wall is to the right of this photo. I have signage above it that says, "Caught reading a banned Bible at Dorothy Cummings Library." Finally, caution tape can draw patrons into the display. If you're wondering where I find the resources that I mentioned, I provide the links to the World Watch List and the Voice of the Martyrs in the relevant links section of the poster. Banned Books Week can be more than just a display. Programming is a valuable way to challenge patrons spiritually. I've listed some of the programming I've used in the past and some that I'd like to implement in the future. Perhaps the easiest one to do is have patrons take a mugshot with a banned Bible. You can see that I included a photo of several mugshots from recent years. You can post trivia questions on your social media accounts using the facts on display. I've done this for prizes before to encourage patrons to visit the library and read the display. You could also create Bible or prayer-related crafts, or spotlight the prayer country of the day during a corporate prayer time. The prayer country of the day is often a country that experiences persecution. I've listed that resource in the relevant links section as well. Lastly, you could bring in a missionary to speak on issues affecting Christians around the world. Here, I've included those links that I mentioned, and also here is my contact information. If you implement anything from this presentation, let me know. I would love to hear how it went. So by taking a spiritual approach to Banned Books Week, patrons see and appreciate their religious freedoms in America. Librarians at Christian institutions will not have to experience conviction about what they are promoting or skip the programming altogether. Banned Books Week can become something that you can look forward to every year.